One evening I invited Jesus Christ into my heart. This, of course, is the first step in making the heart Christ's home. After Christ entered my heart, and in the joy of this new relationship I said to him, Lord, I want this heart of mine to be yours. I want to have you settle down here, and be perfectly at home. Everything I have belongs to you. Let me show you around, and introduce you to the various features of the home that you may be more comfortable, and that we may have fuller fellowship together. The first room was the study, the library. Let us call it the study of the mind. He entered with me and looked around at the books in the bookcase, the magazines upon the table, the pictures on the walls. As I followed his gaze I became uncomfortable. Strangely enough, I had not felt badly about this before, but now that he was there looking at these things I was embarrassed. I turned to him and said, Master, I know that this room needs a radical alteration. Will you help me make it what it ought to be, to bring every thought into captivity to you?
Gladly will I help you. First of all, take all the things that you are reading and looking at which are not helpful, pure, good and true, and throw them out. Now put on the empty shelves the books of the Bible. Fill the library with scriptures and meditate on them day and night.
From the study we went into the dining room, the room of appetites and desires. I spent a good deal of time in the dining room and much effort in satisfying my wants. He seated himself at the table with me and asked,
What is on the menu for dinner?
Well, I said, my favorite dishes, money, academic degrees and stocks, with newspaper articles of fame and fortune as side dishes. These were the things I liked, worldly fare. I suppose there was nothing radically wrong in any particular item, but it was not the food that should satisfy the life of a real Christian. He looked at me and said,
If you want food that really satisfies you, seek the will of the Father, not your own pleasures, not your own desires, and not your own satisfaction. Seek to please me, and that food will satisfy you.
We walked next into the living room. He said,
This is indeed a delightful room. Let us come here often. It is secluded and quiet, and we can fellowship together.
But I thought I was just too busy to spend time with Christ. As I passed the living room, the door was open. Looking in, I saw a fire in the fireplace and Jesus was sitting there. He said,
Remember, I love you. I have redeemed you at great cost. I value your fellowship.
Before long, he asked,
Do you have a workroom in your home?
Down in the basement of the home of my heart I had a workbench and some equipment. He looked over the workbench and what little talents and skills I had. He said,
This is quite well furnished. What are you producing with your life for the kingdom of God?
He looked at one or two little toys that I had thrown together on the bench and held one up to me.
Are these little toys all that you are doing for others in your Christian life?
Well, I said, Lord, that is the best I can do. I know it isn't much, and I really want to do more, but after all, I have no skill or strength to do more.
Do not become discouraged because you cannot do much for God. Your ability is not the fundamental condition. It is I, who is controlling your fingers and upon whom you are relying. Give your talents and gifts to me and I will do things with them that will surprise you.
I remember the time he asked me about the playroom. I was hoping he would not ask about that. There were certain associations and friendships, activities and amusements that I wanted to keep for myself. One day I found him waiting for me at the door. An arresting look was in his eye. As I entered, he said to me,
There is a peculiar odor in the house. There is something dead in this closet.
As soon as he said this, I knew what he was talking about. Yes, in that closet, behind lock and key, I had one or two little personal things that I did not want anyone to know about and certainly I did not want Christ to see them. I knew they were dead and rotting things left over from the old life. I was angry. That's the only way I can put it. I had given him access to the library, the dining room, the living room, the workroom, the playroom, and now he was asking me about the closet. Reluctantly I gave him the keys and he cleaned the closet and painted it, fixed it up, doing it all in a moment's time. Oh, what victory and release to have that dead thing out of my life. I was so tired and weary trying to maintain a clean heart and an obedient life. I am just not up to it. So I ventured a question, Lord, is there any chance that you would take over the responsibility of the whole house and operate it for me and with me just as you did that closet? Would you take the responsibility to keep my heart what it ought to be and my life where it ought to be? He took my life that day and I can give you my word, there is no better way to live the Christian life. He knows how to keep it in shape and deep peace settles down on the soul. Make Christ settle down and be at home in your heart as Lord of all.